Guys, this is a demo of Rinocloud. I'm going to sign into my project. Each person who sets up a project gets their own unique URL for saving data. When we come into the project, we see the file view. This is very much kind of like your typical Dropbox folder system, where you can go into folders and you'll see all the data saved in this folder. Let me go into this piece of data here. So I go through into my folder, I can see all my files, and I can download files. I open up this file, it's just a list of numbers. Then I can look at all of the extra parameters that Rinocloud saves for each file. So it saves tags. This can be a grouping of files based on a paper or some project or something like this. You can save notes, and then you can save arbitrary pieces of metadata. So in this case, we're saving the laser power, the machine that we're using, the sample ID. And I can add, update, and change all of this metadata. This metadata, what it does is, so I just showed you kind of your standard file system. What the metadata allows you to do is to do really powerful searches if you go to the search page of Rinocloud. So here I'm searching for files where the laser power is greater than 100. And it returns 2 files. Out of thousands of files that I might have, it gives me back 2 files. So, in this case, one file here has a laser units of microwatts, the other has laser units of milliwatts. So all I can do is just add an extra query where I search for a string equal to microwatts, and then it returns exactly the file that I want. So by saving metadata with your data, you get this really powerful searching functionality. And over a long period of time, it really gives you a lot of power for your data, with the notes and the sharing features and the metadata all really allow you to add a lot of context and insight to your data instead of just having flat files with numbers inside them. Now, we don't want to be manually uploading all of this data. That's why with Rinocloud we've created a LabVIEW and MATLAB plugins so that you can use LabVIEW and MATLAB, which control your experiments or your simulations, to upload to Rinocloud and save all the parameters. So here I've got LabVIEW set up. So I'm using the Rinocloud LabVIEW library. And I turn on the experiment. So I first put in my key, which kind of authenticates me with the Rinocloud system. Then I can go to the Rinocloud LabVIEW file browser. And in this, so it means I don't need to now anymore type in file paths into LabVIEW. I just browse to the folder in this file browser, and then I can run my experiment. And anytime I generate some data, so I've got some data here on the left and some metadata on the right, I can save all of this to Rinocloud immediately by pressing this button. I can save the image and the CSV, and it's all saved to the correct folder, which we can look at. So you can see that the 2 files that we just created, or the 2 pieces of data we just created, are shown in Rinocloud. Images are automatically previewed, and you can see here all of the metadata that was saved by LabVIEW. We can also do a more advanced example. So instead of just generating data and then saving all of it at the same time, we have an example where you could have some kind of sensor which is periodically measuring. So this is like a temperature sensor that measures every second. And the metadata saved in this case is the status of the experiment, if it's on or off. And this program actually reads this status variable to turn itself on or off. So it's measuring right now. I can go to the website. I can go to the Rinocloud website. I'll refresh this data folder, and there'll be a new file called remote. I go into it, and the status is on, and I can set it to off. And I go back to LabVIEW, and you can see here the experiment has turned itself off. So by using Rinocloud and the plugins for LabVIEW and MATLAB, you can design experiments that can be controlled remotely. Now I've turned the experiment back on, and I'm going to go to MATLAB, where I've used the MATLAB Rinocloud library to live preview that data that was generated by LabVIEW. So I just have some Rinocloud code to authenticate, then I have a loop that pauses every second, and it basically downloads the last piece of data generated and then plots it if the status is on. So here it's plotting every second, and you can see that it's the same graph as being shown in the LabVIEW. And another thing to note is that the LabVIEW is being run in a Windows VM, whereas the MATLAB and the web browser are being run on a Mac. So these are 2 different computers which could be run on either side of the country or the world. And you can save all of your data and the metadata. And by having all of your data and metadata in one place, you can analyze your data from anywhere and design interactive experiments and simulations. Thank you very much for watching this demo.